Welcome to Gratefully Gifted, a podcast for gifted kids made by gifted kids because we do think it is great to be gifted. On today's episode, we will interview Ty Jenkins, who was the fittest teen on Earth 3 years in a row, and is now competing for the fittest man on Earth, even though he's still a teenager. So let's get started as we learn all about fitness on today's episode.
First, some fun. Did you know 25% of your bones are in your feet? There are 26 bones in each foot. The average person walks about 7,500 steps per day. If you stick that to the average step count and live to be 80 years old, you'll walk about 111,000 miles in your lifetime. The word muscle comes from the Latin word for little mouse because Roman soldiers thought the bicep muscle looked like a tiny mouse moving under your skin. Your tongue is the only muscle in your body that is attached at only one end. Muscles create most of the heat in your body, which is why you shiver when you're cold. There are over 600 distinct muscles in the human body. You use 14 muscles to smile and 43 to frown. Your jaw is the strongest muscle in your body. Your jaw also takes up 40% of your body weight. Exercise helps weight management and disease prevention. You need to drink a quart of milk every day for 3 to 4 months to drink as much blood as your heart pumps in 1 hour.
Now, are you ready for some jokes? I named my dog 5 Miles so that I can tell people I walked 5 miles every day. What is a ghost's favorite exercise? Deadlifts. Why did the personal trainer bring a lion to the gym? To get his clients ripped to shreds. What is an apple's favorite workout? The core workout. What is a dairy farmer's favorite exercise? Calf raises. Why did the personal trainer break up with the treadmill? It just wasn't going anywhere. Why do hamburgers go to the gym? To get better buns. What is the entrance to Hogwarts gym called? It is called the dumbbell door.
Now it's time for talking time. I'm Millie. We have with us today Ty Jenkins, who is the world's fittest teen 3 years in a row. Last year, he was his first year to compete in the men's division, even though he still is a teen. And he finished in 15th place in the world's fittest men competition. And he just got back from Copenhagen, where he qualified to compete again this year in world's fittest men competition. Welcome to the Gratefully Gifted podcast, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you for having me.
Can you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to compete in the fittest teen?
Yeah, so my name's Ty Jenkins. I grew up playing all sorts of sports, but ultimately when I was competing for Branson Junior High in football and baseball, COVID hit in 2020, and most of our late 2020 and early 2021 seasons were canceled. So I picked up CrossFit at a local gym here, Table Rock CrossFit, to try and get better at the sports that I already played. And through doing it, I found out that there were age group competitions in CrossFit, and I signed up for one in early 2021 and just fell in love with the sport. And so from then, I started to continue to compete more in CrossFit while juggling my other sports. And ultimately, once I graduated high school and I had the option to pursue a college sport or pursue CrossFit, I chose to keep competing in CrossFit.
Has it been hard not being able to eat some foods as you train? What has been the hardest food not to give up? Is giving up certain foods the hardest thing about training? I mean, I know it's hard to lift weights, but for everyday life, what is the hardest part to show perseverance?
Yeah, I would say that the food that was the hardest to give up is probably cheesecake or donuts. I'm a big dessert fan, but giving those up is just a sacrifice that's made as a part of competing. And there is a time and a place where I can still have those things. It's just not as frequent as I would like because I do love a good dessert. But the most difficult part of training outside of the gym is probably making sure I'm sleeping enough. In order to let your body recover, at my age, I need 8.5 to 10 hours of sleep a night. So the biggest sacrifices I make is not being able to hang out late with my friends, Or if I have an early morning because of training or work, then having to go to bed at 8:30 or 9 p.m. is just a pretty early time to turn in.
How many countries have you competed in? What's been your favorite place to visit that you've competed in?
I've competed in 5 countries this year. And then due to some other sponsorship obligations, I've gotten to visit 9, which was very cool. But my favorite country that I competed in was probably Sweden. It's a very pretty country. The pool that we got to compete in Sweden was super nice, and just the people were so fun.
Do you try and learn the language of the country you know you're going to compete in, or do you have an interpreter the whole time?
A lot of our briefs in competition are done in English first and then the local language. I do always try to, if I know any locals, pick up a few phrases, learn how to read the signs, because the arenas we might be competing in, the signage might still all be in the local language. So you have to learn a few things to navigate.
Does being younger than everyone give you an advantage or disadvantage during competitions now that you're in the men's division?
Right now, it's a disadvantage, but in the future, it could be an advantage. When you're younger in this sport, it takes longer to gain the strength to compete with the full-grown men. But here, 5 or 6 years down the road, I'm going to end up having a lot more experience than everyone else.
We know Adidas is one of your sponsors. How do you get sponsors?
I work with an agent. I have since I was 17, and he makes connections with brands for me. Through these connections, he'll come to me with an idea like, hey, Adidas is wanting to sign you for this long and this much. Is this something we want to pursue together? And then we make the decision from there. And working with Adidas has been amazing.
Is this your full-time job, or do you just do this part-time?
So this is my full-time job in season, but right now is actually our off season. And when I'm not competing, I fix dents in a body shop. So I fix cars.
Has this been something you've always wanted to do?
Since I started competing in the sport, yes. But since I was very young, I knew I wanted to compete in some sort of sport professionally. I just always thought it was going to be baseball. And then in 2020, since I started competing in CrossFit, since then, it was my goal to compete to try to be the fittest man on earth.
We also know that you're gifted and were in the gifted program when you were growing up. Do you have any tips for gifted kids like us? Maybe not about fitness, but something you want to say to 4th to 6th graders' gifted self?
Absolutely. Continue to challenge yourself your entire life. That doesn't have to be physically, that can be mentally. It can be whatever way you want. Always pursue a challenge. You guys are all very smart and you have problem-solving brains. That's what your brains love to do. So always pursue a challenge. And my other advice would be keep yourself anchored in something that does not depend on succeeding or failure. For me, that's my faith. But it can be something different. But what you want to do is find something in your life that will not change whether you succeed or fail, to keep you emotionally stable, and then go pursue big challenges. Take on a challenge that might seem scary or that you might fail because you might surprise yourself and succeed.
Has being gifted affected your career in any way? If so, how?
Yes, there is a very mathematical approach you can take to training. And I think having that problem-solving brain and always trying to do things as wisely or as technically as possible has been something that I've benefited from being gifted.
Do you have any fitness tips for us who are just getting started? We have seen how much you lift in your videos, and we aren't ready for that.
I would say it's a game of patience, and it was for me when I first started as well. I wanted to walk into the gym and lift the huge weights that everyone else was able to, but it takes time. So be patient, learn to do things the right way to avoid injury, and enjoy the process as well. It's fun.
Is there anything else about what you do you would like to share that we haven't talked about or that you think we find interesting?
Yeah, I think competing is one of the cool things I get to do, but meeting people from all over the world and getting to go represent my sponsors all over the world is just another plus that's been so cool. I've gotten to visit the Canary Islands and Germany several times to fulfill sponsor obligations and just meet some really cool people. So in the things you do, whether that's work or a sport or whatever you do, you'll get to travel, you'll get to meet people, and never take that for granted.
Well, that's all the questions we had for you today. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Jenkins. We have learned a lot about fitness and competing from you. I especially liked and will remember the fact that you don't only practice hard, you also keep motivated.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on the show.
I'm bored. Now what? Today I want to share with you a few healthy snacks you can make as an after-school snack. The first one is quick and easy. You take an apple and place it on its side, then cut it into slices. Cut the middle out of it. Then you can take a peanut butter and spread it on the apple slices. Then just put your favorite granola on the top and add some chocolate chips, and you're ready to enjoy a healthy and crunchy snack. Another healthy snack is banana roll-ups, or a fancy name for it is banana sushi. First, you need a tortilla and then spread almond butter on it. Then you should take a banana and roll it in the tortilla. Then you need to cut it into slices. Then you're done and it's ready to eat. Want a snack that also gives some creativity? Grab a circle rice cake and spread a peanut butter over it. Now use fruit slices like bananas, blueberries, or strawberries, or maybe some cashews, even though they aren't a fruit, to make funny faces out of the rice cakes. Try making a monkey or a dog face. This makes your snack healthy, but also lets us use our creativity too. Happy, healthy eating!
Well, that is all for today. We hope you enjoyed this episode and learned some new things about fitness you didn't already know. If you enjoyed it, please share it with others and like and subscribe where you listen to this podcast. We appreciate your support, and if you'd like to reach out to us with other topic ideas, just email us at gratefully-gifted, that is with no spaces, at branson.k12.mo.us. We all feel grateful to be gifted, and we hope you do as well, because being gifted is great.